Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. We're comfortable today. I like this. I dig this. I like it a lot. Super Bowl 57. My goodness. We typically love to say this after a spectacle, after an event like this. It was one of the greatest we've ever watched. But, Jeff, that was special. That was a special game, man.
Yeah, it was a legacy game for a couple different people. You had Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. We talked about it. But I was told, and this is, I went back and forth with people last week. Jeff, the Eagles' defensive line, there's a drop-off, a significant drop-off from the Eagles to the Chiefs. And I remember, last week me just reminding people, no, not really. It's the Eagles and then the Chiefs for both the offensive and defensive line. And you saw that on Sunday. I mean, there wasn't really much of a factor from that Eagles defensive line.
Showed up, Chris Jones showed up. And you know who had a combined total amount of 0 sacks as a team? The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
What a game. Nick Sirianni. By the way, if we can, the first thing we should do, congratulate Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs on being the standard in the NFL. Unbelievable job. Congratulations on your Super Bowl. To the Philadelphia Eagles, I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I don't know what it's like, to be honest with you, but I can imagine it sucks. It sucks. You played a hell of a game. Jalen Hurts, the game of his life. No doubts about Jalen Hurts. We'll get to him later on in the show. You're paying Jalen Hurts. You're paying Jalen Hurts, and that's what a franchise quarterback looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Three rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, threw for 300 yards.
Yeah.
My goodness. That game had everything, back and forth, defense, special teams, offense. The quarterbacks were the focal point. It was everything you could have asked for and more. And in the end, Andy Reid, experience, Steve Spagnuolo, they came out in the second half, and they won the second half.
And that was kind of the story of the game, the second half adjustments. And I guess that just kind of further proves what we think of Andy Reid. And that was the biggest thing for you as well. I remember last week you saying, how do I go against Andy Reid? I mean, if you're going into this game, you got Mahomes, you got Andy Reid versing Nick Sirianni, great coach, but there's levels to this. Andy Reid has been in the league he's been coaching for 30 years. So you talk about second half adjustments and remembering or knowing what works and what doesn't. I mean, there you go, Andy Reid for you. And then you have Mahomes, who is the best quarterback. There's no question anymore. Remember, there was an actual debate if
there was
Mahomes,
a week where you could have the conversation.
Mahomes wasn't the best, and now he just solidifies that. Now 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl rings, 3 appearances.
2 Super Bowl MVPs.
2 Super Bowl MVPs in 2 5,000-yard passing seasons. So.
Joins Brady and Joe Montana as the only players to have 2 Super Bowl MVPs and 2 Super Bowls. Not bad, huh?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good company if you had me.
Good 5-year start.
I tweeted this out last night. He's already the second greatest quarterback of all time. And nobody, I think, truly can debate it. As many rings as Manning. Yes, he doesn't have the form that Montana has, but come on.
If you're taking talent into consideration.
What are we talking about here? He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
My goodness, what a game. My biggest takeaway was we do what we always try to do. Why did the game end the way it did? Well, because James Bradbury held, and that's a holding call.
Yeah.
And I have no issue with the flag. I have no issue with anything that happened in that game. I have no issue with the reverse on the Devontae Smith catch. It wasn't a catch. I don't want to hear, I don't know what a catch is anymore. I'll tell you what a catch is. When you have possession and it doesn't bobble and you have 2 feet in, and at the end of the catch, you don't fall and the ball clearly lodges off your hand and sticks on your body. That's not a catch. Just so everyone's on the same page here.
The Goddard catch.
Catch.
I thought the refs, for the most part, and we'll get into it.
For the most part. They were excellent.
I didn't have an issue.
They weren't the story of the game. They didn't throw any false face mask, any false holdings, nothing. They were on point. They called everything correctly. They let the players play. And when Bradbury held, he stopped Juju from releasing on his route. He could and would have been open. It was the right call. I'm happy to say the referees didn't decide the game. To me, that's everything you want as a sports fan. And you know what? I thought Nick Sirianni and really Jalen Hurts, everybody on the Philadelphia side, lost with class. I remember once upon a time a Cam Newton-led team getting to a Super Bowl, and after that, that was ugly. Didn't even attend the press conference, walked out. I get it, but Jalen Hurts yesterday, you're gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm a big character guy.
Mm-hmm.
The way he handled himself in a loss after the game, at the podium, is why I'm gonna pay him.
Yep.
Because I have no doubts.
He's the same.
I have no doubts.
He's the same way, in a win or in a loss. Obviously different reactions, but same composure. And you saw that back in Alabama. When he was benched for Tua won the Natty, he still went to the postgame, talked about the national championship game, and was just as excited, even though he was benched for Tua. So you talk about character, you talk about leadership. And for Jalen Hurts, only being 24 years old, you got to pay that man. How he played. I mean, you take away the fumble recovery for a touchdown, he played a damn near perfect game. He really did.
I'll tell you who didn't have a good game, who didn't have a good performance, who didn't really show up or meet expectations. I only want to get it out of the way now because we got a jam-packed show.
Yeah.
Rihanna sucked. That halftime show was complete ass. Thankfully, I didn't watch most of it after the first 30 seconds, but that was a joke. I don't mean to sound like an old guy. I'm not even old, but my goodness, I grew up watching Michael Jackson and Prince doing the goddamn halftime show. I got to watch some pregnant chick just do nothing. She couldn't even dance.
See, well,
I could shake my ass.
Okay.
Like, come on.
Well,
I'll do the halftime show next year.
I think that's the problem, too. It's the Super Bowl halftime show, people get sometimes too invested. I use that 30 minutes. I go get food. I take a minute to step away from the TV. I have conversations. I don't even obsess about the halftime show, so I don't really have an opinion on it. I like Rihanna. But people were tweeting about how it sucked. People were tweeting about it. People tweeting about it like, "Oh, this halftime show was terrible." But the last 2 years, they've tweeted the halftime show was terrible.
Lady Gaga has a better halftime performance than you, you fucked up.
Well, Lady Gaga, she's an interesting human being.
It's about performing. It's not about the music. It's about the performance.
Like last year in L.A. when they did.
That was a vibe. It was L.A. It was all the OGs in rap and hip hop. All right, it made sense. I don't mind it. But come on, give me something. Who's going to do it next year, huh? Fish? Me? What are we doing?
Well, you remember who was supposed to do it?
I don't.
Taylor Swift, and then she declined.
Oh, well, thank God she didn't. See, that to me, I might stop watching football.
See, look at your options. Like you I would take Rihanna in that
now
instance.
that I know that was the case, I'm not as upset anymore. But moving on back to the game, Jeff, we talked about a game where two teams, they were the best two teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
But you know what happened to Philly last night? They got tested. And I hate to say it.
Yeah.
But that is the problem with the NFC. Mahomes, the Chiefs, they've been battle tested all season long. Never an issue. You knew what was going to happen if they were in a close game.
Right.
With Philly, again, not to discredit how dominant they were, how good the defense was. 70 sacks in the regular season. Most in the NFL. Close to setting a record. And they had 0 in the championship game. Why?
Didn't do it when it mattered.
Well, Andy Reid had 2 weeks to prepare for you. And as much as I like Nick Sirianni, I think he's a very good coach. Nobody should be doubting his ability after the Super Bowl. Having said that, welcome to the big boy league, man. This is what happens. You got to figure out second half adjustments in the NFL.
Right.
The game isn't won in the first half. It's won in the second half. It's won in the fourth quarter. It's won in the final 3-4 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Chiefs were excellent. Coming out of halftime, special teams in the second half. The Eagles just, I don't want to say they lost the game, but they didn't do themselves any favors in the second half.
No, especially not defensively. I mean, and that's the big thing about that specific call is if you have a problem with the call, Philly still gave up 35. So, I mean, be mad at that rather. And that's, I guess, the big thing to take away, too, is for the Eagles, you really didn't have a challenge at quarterback all year. I mean, Jalen Hurts, to us, is the best quarterback in the NFC. He probably faced the best quarterback he faced was either Dak or Jared Goff. And now you go from Daniel Jones in the first game, coming off a win against Minnesota. They take care of the Giants. They go against the 49ers with Brock Purdy being hurt. Then they go against the Chiefs and Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's just, and we talked about that last week and how different that challenge is, and you saw it play out that way. Eagles, I still think, will be good next year. Maybe not as talented of a roster, But the AFC, man, it's a different animal. And it just shows you at the end of the day, this is an offensive league. I mean, 2 good defenses, 2 good offenses, 38-35 result. So no matter how good your defenses are, yeah.
How about
absolutely.
Arizona always giving us a hell of a game? My goodness, the Malcolm Butler catch.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. By the way, turf? Anybody have a
Slipping.
problem with that? It's the Super Bowl. I don't need to see both teams slipping all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We're better than this.
Especially even at kickoff. I mean, the kicker was slipping.
God, man.
He's trying to get the ball off, so.
Can't be perfect in everything, though. Overall, I thought it was a fantastic Super Bowl. Halftime show was shit. The turf was shit, but everything else was fantastic. I'm not going to lie to you, Jeff. I enjoyed myself very much. We got a jam-packed show. Patrick Mahomes coming up next. Jeff, we got to talk about your guy. He cemented his legacy. He's already one of the greatest we've ever seen. He's now more accomplished or as accomplished as some of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen.
Yep.
In NFL history. We'll get to him next. 8:30, Andy Reid. Nobody wants to talk about Andy Reid. It's not the sexiest storyline. It's not the next Sean McVay. Damn it, will you hear Sean Payton all the... We need to talk about Andy Reid. We need to talk about Andy Reid the way we talk about Jimmy Johnson. And we're going to have that conversation at 8:30. 8:45, Jalen Hurts. The Eagles got to pay him. I think you saw everything you want and more out of a franchise quarterback yesterday. It was a great performance by Jalen Hurts in that offense. Him, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, they're not going anywhere. Dallas Goedert. So the Eagles are going to be good for a long time. Top of the hour, we'll get back to the game. 9:15, officiating. I don't have a problem with it. I'll tell you from now, but we'll have the conversation. 9:30, early Super Bowl odds. How about this? The Lions have the 8th highest odds at plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl next year. I think that has a lot more to say about the NFC than the Lions, but again, all good. We can have the conversation at 9:30, and then at 9:40, way too early Super Bowl predictions for 2023 and final thoughts on the game. Great show today. I can't wait. I cannot wait. But before we go, Jeff, I got to tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Planet Fitness. Sign up today. $10 a month. What are you waiting for, huh? Get to the gym. Take care of yourself, your mental, your physical health. Home of the judgment-free zone. Sign up today by visiting one of their many Metro Detroit locations or signing up at planetfitness.com.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. As always, Jeff Iafrate, Adham, Beydoun. Super Bowl 57 has come to a conclusion, and
What
now,
a game.
What a game, yes, indeed, Fish.
That was a spectacular game.
Unbelievable game. I
Start-
think we were all
start to
treated.
finish.
I think we were all very treated to a great game, but there was
Yeah, I
also
was
a great quarterback. Fish,
So
shut the
happy
hell
Team
up.
Fluff won. What a game that was. By the way, have you guys ever watched the Puppy Bowl? Do you know what it is?
Okay,
Have you
so
guys ever
Anson
tapped
told
in?
me about this on the show yesterday.
Okay.
And I never knew what it was.
I didn't realize it was
I
3
thought
hours
it's-
long.
I thought it's the dumbest thing in the world, and this is why our country is in the state it is because we spend resources on the Puppy Bowl. But shut up, because I'm trying to move on. I don't want to talk about puppies right now. We'll get to puppies later. Deal?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's what we're going to do. It's a great game. We'll remember it for the next 364 days until the next one.
No question.
But Patrick Mahomes, in his 5-year window, I'll break it down as much as I can, and then I want you to take the baton and really explain to people who still doubt, still question, including me, by the way. You know, I was there during the AFC Championship week. Not that I doubted Mahomes' legacy or his ability, but boy, I'm in love with Joe Burrow. But there's a different element, there's a different level that Mahomes is playing on right now. And I don't know how to quantify it. Well, maybe I'll try to. I'll start 5 AFC title games in 5 years of starting as a quarterback in the NFL. 5 years, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He had his greatest Super Bowl that he has played to date. Oh, the first quarterback since Kurt Warner in 1999 to win the regular season MVP and go on to win a Super Bowl. The last 9, by the way, 0-9 in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes setting the record, breaking trends, doing it all. Unbelievable. The yards, the touchdowns, the most yards per game in NFL history, an amazing touchdown-interception ratio. I can go on and on and on and on about all the numbers that he owns, and he is. Mm-hmm. He's special. His coach is special. What they've built is special. And I'm not going to wait to anoint him when he's as or more accomplished than Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Dan Marino, John Elway, you name them, more than them all, Brett Favre. Yeah. Show me the quarterbacks, all of them. Only Brady and Montana and Bradshaw and Aikman. Off the top of my head, I can say have more rings, but even then, he's higher than Aikman. He's higher than Bradshaw all time.
Right.
And he's approaching, I would argue, past Joe Montana. Some would say he's approaching. Fine,
yeah.
I'll respect it. And then he's got some way to go to get Brady, but he's on pace to do it, man.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot of with LeBron and what he says. I'm always chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan. It has nothing to do with being a Hall of Famer. If LeBron retired 7 years ago, 10 years ago, he'd still be a Hall of Famer. But the ultimate goal is to chase the GOAT. I think for Mahomes, it's Tom Brady, and that's Super Bowl champions. And that's why bringing up Joe Montana, and that's why I respect you for putting him 2. I'd probably still put him 3, 4, just because I got a lot of respect for Joe Montana. He's got 4 Super Bowl rings, 3 MVPs, and he did that in really the span of what Mahomes is doing right now. So we'll see what Mahomes does. But the fact that he's 27 and he's so accomplished, the thing, and statistically so accomplished, I think that's what really separates him from Montana or, Brady for how young he is. 2 5,000-yard passing seasons. He's already thrown for a 50-burger in a season. He got 40 this year. So when it's all said and done, Mahomes will be up there in pretty much every statistical category for a quarterback, and he's going to have a handful of Super Bowls, so along with MVPs. So Mahomes, man, at his age, what he's doing to win 2 out of 3, and that's why we talked about how much was at stake in this Super Bowl, because you're a win or a loss from being 1 and 2 or 2 out of 3. So it was big for Mahomes to get it. If you find me a good quarterback, I'll typically find you a good coach if they're winning Super Bowls. Obviously, with Tom Brady, you had Bill Belichick, and with Andy Reid or Mahomes, you got Andy Reid. So
Mahomes, nothing wrong with
Mahomes could hang it up right now and be a Hall of Famer. But I think the big picture is he's chasing Montana and Brady. And with Andy Reid coming back expected next season and what Brett Veach is doing with the Chiefs, they're going to be in contention for a while. So we'll see what he can do. But the Chiefs aren't going nowhere.
The Chiefs aren't going anywhere, but you know what? They've already entered a different stage of this potential dynasty.
Yeah.
Because they already rebuilt and they retooled, and they're young, and it's Trent McDuffie, and it's a lot of these guys, Sky Moore. Look who scored the touchdowns for the Chiefs. Was that not Brady-esque? We used to laud Tom Brady for throwing to Julian Edelman, Deion Branch, Troy Brown, David Givens. We used to laud him for Kevin Folk. For all these guys. Juju Smith-Schuster in the end zone. Sky Moore.
McKinnon. All these guys, man.
Pacheco. Not Juju. I meant Kelsey.
Yeah.
McKinnon. Pacheco. All of them. Not Juju. God. Kadarius Toney.
Yep, Toney.
All of these guys down the stretch scored so... I got nothing but great things to say about Mahomes. Hell of a game, dude. Hell of a game.
What impresses me, too, is just the culture that Andy Reid's created. I mean, Kadarius Toney, former first-round pick, he was pretty much given up with the Giants, showed some flashes, but, I mean, he went for a pretty much a bag of chips. Well, they trade for him a third-round pick. He comes to the Chiefs, makes really arguably 2 of the biggest plays in that game.
How about that, huh?
For the Chiefs.
That punt return was
unbelievable.
The game.
I mean, that was an alley-oop you ended up converting. So for Kadarius Toney and the culture that Reid is just breeding and has been breeding, says a lot, man. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, even me criticizing him over the last couple years, and he made some big plays, man.
Deservingly so. Dealt with a lot of injuries in New York, where wide receivers really aren't given a fair shot. Not the best quarterback situation, but no, hell of an effort by a lot of individuals for the Chiefs. Mahomes has won now with the All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
He's now won with the retooling. And again, you look at last night, that's what franchise quarterbacks look like. And even look at Jalen Hurts. That's what they look like. In the face of adversity, they find a way. Yep. Down 8 in the face of adversity, 5-6 minutes to go, we score. Now, did you expect to get the ball back? You did, but Jalen Hurts did everything he was supposed to do. He didn't get to touch the ball until their own 20, 30-yard line. Yeah. 8 seconds left.
And you're just throwing it up for grabs.
Game was over. So that's what a franchise quarterback looks like to me. That's why you pay them to overcome adversity, to galvanize the locker room. Patrick Mahomes did exactly that. He talked about it after the game. He had to teach guys about the culture that he learned, from Derek Johnson and Alex Smith. And I thought that was such a humbling point for him to make, because he even acknowledged, hey, I walked into a really good situation here and we won, and it was like all really fast for me.
Yeah.
But I appreciate this Super Bowl more than the first one because of the Super Bowl loss I had, because of the AFC title game loss I had last year. Now, that's why this was more special to me. And again, the characteristics of a franchise guy, he's got it all. You saw what Hurts did. Great Super Bowl, Jeff.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Hurts, he's going to be around for a while. He's going to get paid. And it just was reported this morning or late last night, Shane Steichen, he's taking the Colts job. So he'll be flying down there, finalizing a deal with them. So Eagles, to me, you probably got to find a replacement for Jason Kelce, expecting he retires. But whether or not he does or not, the Eagles are only a couple pieces away from being right back in this position. So Eagles, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Even though they're paying Hurts very soon, until that contract kicks in, the Eagles, man, they're the team to beat in the NFC. So as much as your fans for the Eagles are definitely heartbroken, there's no reason to be. I mean, they'll be back in this conversation. Looking at how the NFC is, too, the Eagles, man, with Jalen Hurts are going to be a problem. I'm just saying, the idea of that you need all-pro corners, at the end of the day, no. They still gave up 35 or
still
38.
Gave up 30. They gave up 38. Gardner Johnson got burnt.
Well,
James
technically
Bradbury
31,
got burnt.
I guess.
Slay got burnt. They all got burnt. And at the end of the day, It's not because they're bad.
No.
They're excellent. But battle-tested, who do you need? You needed Brandon Graham. You needed Hassan Reddick to have a game. You needed your interior line to have a game. And you know what, Jeff? They didn't. And that's why you go back to last year before the season started, before the NFL draft the cocaine. That wasn't meant to be funny. That's legit. Frank Clark, Chris Jones, that's what you want. You want your Nick Bosa. Why? Because in those games, if I get to Mahomes a half second earlier, maybe he doesn't get that throw off to Juju.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't make that throw down the sideline to Travis Kelce. Maybe. It's a game of split-second decisions. Half-second plays. Aaron Donald. The Rams don't win a Super Bowl unless he hits Joe Burrow.
Right.
That's the game we play. That's the game of football. And that's why it's the best game.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we talk about drafting players, that's why. That's why. And do you want a James Bradbury? Do you want these guys like Slay? Yeah, hell yeah, you do. But it all starts up front. And, we made a big deal about the KCO line. And, could they stand up to this vaunted Philly? Well, they did. They did. They answered the bell. I thought Andy Reid came in with a plan this time. He didn't the first time against Tampa Bay, and they got Mahomes killed for it.
Yeah.
God bless them all, man. Super Bowl champions, Super Bowl 57, their second title, 38-35, Jeff. Mahomes cements his legacy as one of the greatest to do it already. And you know what the crazy part is, guys? He's only quarterbacked 5 full seasons. He's still got another decade. He's still got a decade of being the problem.
Yep.
And I hear a lot about the AFC, and rightfully so. It's jam-packed with quarterbacks.
But they got to go through him.
They got to go through him.
Yeah.
It's not about who's next. It's what the hell are you doing?
Roughing.
I'm trying to work.
Okay. I mean,
what are you
I can't
reenacting
do
the
TV
Rihanna
things.
halftime show?
No, I'm not. I thought it was okay. I was a little underwhelmed.
Good. I'm glad at least you have taste in.
I
shows.
liked your music. I was because it's the Super Bowl. It's America. They expect this big bang of guests and all that. I didn't get any of that.
Yeah,
I got a moving stage like this.
I did like that they didn't have guests.
Oh,
I'm
you
not a
like
fan.
that?
Yeah, I think it's stupid. You sign up to be the Super Bowl halftime singer. Go out and put on a performance on your own. Maybe one guest, but
okay.
I don't need 7-8 people walking out on stage. Then it's not Whatever. Anyways, moving on.
Okay.
Fish, I hate you. Just throw me off every damn day. What am I going to do with you?
I don't know.
Break my heart, Fish. You break my heart.
Try not to.
You know, I might Fredo you, by the way.
Okay.
Do you know that reference?
I'm sure I would gather it.
I don't know if I want to know that reference.
You know what I'm talking about. Godfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I might Fredo him.
Okay.
But I'll wait. I'll wait till football season's over.
Yeah, give it some time.
Yep. And we'll just whack him. Middle of the lake, fish out on a little pontoon. Pop.
Well, I think
rid of
for
it.
you guys, football season is over.
Technically not yet.
When does it end then?
I think like 3, 4, 5 days from now. There's like an
Oh.
official calendar date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you don't got much time to live.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyways, moving on. When we get back, Andy Reid. We talk about Mahomes cementing his legacy. Here's a guy that won in a way that we're not used to seeing. And I got a lot of special things to say about Andy Reid and his accomplishments. We'll get to him next. But before we do, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Cousins Maine Lobster. What are you waiting for? Scan the QR code that you see on your screen. Treat yourself on a beautiful Monday to some lobster. Lobster mac and cheese, lobster tacos, and, of course, my favorite, the clam chowder soup. What are you waiting for? CousinsMainLobster.com. Check them out. Find out where the trucks are, and go treat yourself to a good lunch. We'll see you guys in just a minute.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com from Feldman Chevrolet and Novi. Come on out. Used cars, brand new cars on the lot.
There's a car right behind
Corvette's
you.
changed so much from when I was a kid, man. Jeez, like they've changed completely.
We're just surrounded by Patrick Mahomes, man. We got Corvettes everywhere. That's how it feels.
Well, you know what? Andy Reid deserves his flowers, man.
Does.
That is a guy that won in a way that you don't see in the NFL anymore. You know, and the NFL is a vicious cycle, man. It's 3-4 years and you're done.
Yeah.
And typically 1-2 for the bad ones, not even 2. So for him to win, it took him 19 seasons, Jeff, to win his first Super Bowl. 19.
Persistence. It's key.
And this is a guy that's won multiple division titles.
Yep.
Been to not multiple, 5 NFC title games.
Won multiple
goes
playoff
to KC,
games. Yeah.
Gets to another 5 AFC title games. And I want to say he's the only coach in NFL history, by the way, to get to 5 AFC and 5 NFC title games. Oh, and he's won a Super Bowl in the AFC now twice. Impressive. Been to the Super Bowl in the NFC before. He's done it all. He's done it all. I think, he's humble. He's not going to talk about, where he stands or where he sits all time. But when I hear Jimmy Johnson, when I hear Bill Belichick, Bill Walsh, when I hear some of the greats, I'm going to think of Andy Reid now. And, you could say, oh, well, he needed Mahomes. Well, Bill Walsh needed Steve Young and Joe Montana.
Don't even worry.
And you know what?
Yeah.
For all these coaches, Belichick had Brady, and I don't believe in discrediting coaches because they have good players. I've seen Andrew Luck's career get wasted. Mm-hmm. I've watched Peyton Manning go almost a decade without a Super Bowl. I've watched Brady. We forget Brady went almost a 10-year window in between his first 3 and his 4th. without winning a Super Bowl. It's hard, man. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And for Reid, 19 years to finally win the first one, and now again to win the second one. He cemented himself into that conversation. You want to say top 5, top 7. I don't care for the list. All I know is when you talk to me about some of the greatest coaches ever, he's there.
And when you talk about some of the greatest coaches ever, you find me a great quarterback. And that's why I don't get the conversation about he needed Mahomes. If anything, I'll use it for him. Imagine if he had someone like Mahomes earlier in his career. It took him almost 20 years to get Mahomes. And we talk about long-term success with 2 different teams in 2 different conferences, and to make the Super Bowl with the Eagles and not ultimately win it. Obviously, we know what happened there just as a team in general. But in the AFC now with Mahomes, to be as dominant, multiple AFC appearances, you make multiple Super Bowl appearances, and now you win 2 out of the 3, and he's still not done, I think says a lot about Andy Reid. And if anything, you talk about where the league's moving, right? They're moving in an offensive direction. If anything, that benefits Andy Reid, because with Bill Belichick, it was always defensive-oriented. You had Bill Belichick, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, defensive-minded coach ever. But now the league's changed. It's moved in a different direction. And if anything, it's benefited Andy Reid, because he's still, to this day, the smartest head coach offensively that we have at least seen in the modern era. So it says a lot. This is why teams are going out and getting Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahans, the Mike and Matt LaFleur's. Like, it's because of Andy Reid and his offensive creativity. It's why we love Ben Johnson, because of what he provides offensively. So Andy Reid, whatever you want to say about him, one of the all-time greatest coaches. And I think 15 years in Philly, however long it was, to now, 10-plus years in Kansas City, to have success in both of those destinations, I think speaks a lot about his character. So regardless of the quarterback conversation, the fact that he got Patrick Mahomes almost 20 years into his career, and you're looking at the dominance over this stretch of years, I think says a lot about him. Imagine if he had a guy like this early in his career, like Belichick. He probably could have strung off 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, but Brady wasn't Brady in the early days. Again, not to discredit anything. It's just the reality. Ty Law, Richard Seymour, Vince Wilfork, Willis McGahee, Teddy Bruschi, right. Mike Vrabel. Come on.
Yeah, they had.
Come on. Asante Samuel came along at the tail end of that. Rodney Harrison. Let's be real here. Belichick's greatness in the beginning was there. We all saw it. They were together. They were doing it together. Brady did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And then he got better and better as time went on, and nobody expected him to be a 50-touchdown, 5,000-yard passer in the NFL. It's not what you associated with Brady. And he was doing it with a bunch of players that, let's be honest, the Patriots have never been able to draft wide receivers. So, here we are. The Chiefs have done it their way. I think that's the best part about sports. Every team does it their own way. They typically embody their city. And I had this conversation with McCarty yesterday on the pregame show, and something about Kansas City. It's Midwest, blue collar. You got a chip on your shoulder. People doubting you going into the year. Your smart organization. Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round pick. Trent McDuffie, 1st round pick. You make it work. You just made it work. Outside of the Bears and the Texans, the Chiefs, not the Lions, not anybody else. The Chiefs played the most snaps for rookies in all the NFL. The 3rd most snaps by rookies in the NFL this year. And they're out winning a Super Bowl. Tell me more about why your franchise needs time, and they need to be patient. Welcome to the NFL. Smart people win. Dumb people make excuses. Dumb people say next year. I'm watching them retool while paying him $45 million a year. And he's great, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to figure out to win in the NFL. It's not that simple. Unbelievable. Andy Reid, again, he's not the brilliant communicator darling like a Sean McVay or a Sean Payton now. He's not Bill Belichick stuck up and, I'm just happy to win a Super Bowl. He's not that. He's just himself. He's just Andy Reid. And I don't even know how I describe him as a person, but he's like bubbly and awesome. But at the same time, Mahomes talks about this. He barks. He barks a lot, man. They have tough conversations in Kansas City, and life advice for all of you. If you want to get where you want to go, or you're having problems with anybody at home or work-related, you just got to have tough conversations. Running away from it, hiding from it, not acknowledging it, ignoring it, letting it go and build, it's not going to work. Hey, Mahomes, you're doing this wrong, bro. I don't care if you're an MVP. Get your shit together. Hey, Andy, I need help. I can't work with this. Okay, we'll get you Juju. We'll get you Kadarius Toney. We got you, buddy. We got you. Hey, Isaiah Pacheco, he's going to come on late in the year. What do you know? It works.
Yeah.
And they make it work because they're great.
And there's something about coaching Hall of Fame level talent. I think that deserves more respect. That's why, say what you want about Steve Kerr, but I think if you can not even do your job as a head coach at a high level, but learn how to have relationships and communicate with great players like Andy Reid has been able to do, I think that deserves a ton of credit. Whether it's, Alex Smith moving on to Patrick Mahomes and having that relationship with Mahomes and Travis Kelce and like Chris Jones, like getting these guys to come out and play every year and have that same motivation. Like as dominant as they've been to even go into this year, you lose Tyreek Hill, you win 14 games. Like, there's not really much of a drop-off, both offensively and defensively. I think it speaks a lot to what Reid has done. And his ability to coach talented players, I think just gives him a more of a nod for me because it's very easy to mess those things up. We've seen it happen before.
How about Mahomes playing on one leg?
Come on, man.
Got hurt right before halftime, I believe, right?
Yeah, re-injure it. And you know what's funny? Even Mahomes with a bad ankle, still the best quarterback on the planet. You put him in a pocket, and he's made some plays. He forced, and even that 25-yard run down the stretch, I mean, he's limping down the field. I know people are like, oh, he's doing it for show. No, that was, you could tell he was in legitimate pain. But Adam,
he was crying on the sideline.
His excuses are going to come
for show.
It's going to come out of nowhere. It's the same stuff people say about LeBron. So,
what are you gonna
but
do?
Mahomes deserves a ton of credit, man. Playing all banged up like he was. His offensive line deserves a ton of credit for protecting him the way they did. Didn't allow a sack last night, so. Whew. And it's funny because Mahomes talked about this. He's like, my offensive line probably has the hardest job in the NFL because you're blocking for a quarterback that holds the ball too long, moves around in the pocket erratically, and they still didn't give up a sack last night. So speaks a lot to that Chiefs offensive line. But hey, I was told, Jeff, the Chiefs offensive and defensive line, you don't know what you're talking about. There's a significant drop-off from the Eagles to the Chiefs. And then we saw last night.
I don't mean to harp back on the original point from the first segment, but you look at the Eagles, how'd they get to the Super Bowl? Smacking up the Giants, beating a fifth-string quarterback in San Francisco, and then they had to deal with Mahomes and Andy Reid. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
What Mahomes have to deal with? A surging, hot Jaguars team. Joe Burrow, who they had never beaten before.
Yep.
That's what they had to deal with to get to the Super Bowl. They were ready for anything. And I think that's again, the flaw in Philadelphia, the flaw in the NFC, and the flaw with Nick Sirianni. And it's okay. He's still a very good coach. No one's going to doubt him. But second half, man, this will be the test for every coach. We can even say this about Dan Campbell. Who are you in the second half? Who are you going into half, coming out of half, and with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter? Because that's where games are decided. That's just where they're decided. The Chiefs did everything right. They owned the second half. Defense, special teams, offense, you name it, they won everything. And Nick Sirianni and company didn't have answers. That defense, that vaunted defense,
oh yeah,
they didn't have a single answer. Special teams, Sean Payton touched on it. He said the one thing he saw in film that concerned him about the Eagles were their special teams, shockingly.
And it played out that way.
And it's again, there's not one single thing that costs you a game. But, geez, a punt return all the way to the 3-yard line or 5-yard line, whatever it was, that doesn't help. Crazy game. Crazy game, crazy expectations. I'm so very happy we got to watch that game. Hell of a game.
Yeah, and then, again, it's the complete opposite for both coaching staffs. You have a young Philly coaching staff. Steichen leaving for the Colts. I mean, you Jonathan Gannon, Nick Sirianni. Then you go to Andy Reid, Spagnuolo. You got Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy. It's the guys that have been in this business and at a high level for quite some time, and then a coaching staff that you like, but still have a lot to work on. So we'll see. Eagles will be around though. They'll be in the conversation. It's hard to dethrone the Chiefs.
We'll be in the conversation. The champs are the champs again. Jalen Hurts coming up next. He played his heart out.
Yeah.
I think there's no doubt you pay the man. But we'll have the conversation. Initial thoughts on his game. The defense was not what you thought it was in Philly. That came back to bite him. Unfortunately, at 9 o'clock, we'll talk about the Lions. Jared Goff. How do the Lions do what the Eagles have done? How do they get to a Super Bowl? How do they contend? And are they far away? We'll have that conversation next. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Well, the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. You want to be like Mahomes or Hurts in the Super Bowl? Go down to Fulling. Bring your friends with you. You can either play the $12 unlimited open play, or if you're bringing friends along with you, $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 mystery beer machine, full bar. Check it all out. FullingWarehouse.com.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. Jordan asks in the chat, Adam, how'd you do with your bets last night? I made 3 bets. I lost 2 of them. I lost the coin toss. I lost the Gatorade color.
Yeah, but
I didn't put like real money on them. But I did put real money.
I don't think anyone got the Gatorade color.
I put real money on the Chiefs. I got them at plus 100 before the game. That was nice. So that was a good payout. And then I hit a parlay.
Don't worry.
You gotta tell us what that parlay is.
Don't worry.
Should I?
He sent me that parlay.
I don't know.
I sent Jeff the
It was
parlay.
a real deal.
Okay, can I get it sent? I didn't get anything sent to me.
Well, because I don't share my wins with you because you're a bad friend and you just shoot me down. I bet on the Chiefs money line, the over at 50.5. Kadarius Toney, Travis Kelce, and Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. $100 paid out $3,000. So it was a good Sunday.
It's pretty good.
It was a good Sunday. You know, I just bought my baby's crib with that. So there you go. There you go, honey. You're welcome. I worked on a Sunday, made some money. There you go.
There you go.
Shut the hell up and leave me alone. Let me bet. All right.
Wow. All right. Are you betting on XFL this weekend?
I'm not watching that garbage. I'm not watching that. I'm not watching the USFL. I'm not watching WWE. I'm not watching any of this bullshit.
I found it funny they had a ad yesterday basically saying USFL is real football. I found that kind of funny.
If the USFL is real football.
Just saying.
If that's real football.
Saying that football is not
football would be the worst sport in America.
And football is resuming or whatever. Kind of funny.
I just want to know who's in charge of the marketing. Like, you're trying to sell a product to NFL fans.
Yeah.
And we're not stupid. We have the best product. We know what we want.
I mean, the only thing they can tell you is
For you to
football.
market the USFL as real football, bro, just say, hey, while you don't watch any football for the next 6 months, how about you come watch ours? How about you market it that way? Huh? How about you pay me to watch? Because it's the only way I would ever watch.
It's real football. It just says lesser players. That's it.
It's shit. It's shit. Moving on.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
It's
Talked
just
about him
lesser
before the
players.
year.
Okay.
You had high expectations for him. This is a guy you thought would have a really, really good year. I don't want to say out on him going into this year because I learned my lesson last year when I was wrong about him. But my goodness, MVP candidate, second in voting of the MVP award. He was excellent. He was excellent. He was the better quarterback technically, statistically in the Super Bowl. 3 rushing touchdowns. This is the problem with Hurts, by the way, is his mobility is such a game changer that you don't want to just take it away. But he showed he can drop back in the pocket, man, sling for 300 yards.
That's the difference.
He threw dimes everywhere over the field.
Yeah.
It made me more comfortable that Hurts is everything he is, plus some. in the Super Bowl on the biggest stage. He didn't have a Cam Newton type performance. He didn't have a performance where you doubt whether or not he's the guy in the future. And everybody in that locker room, I promise you, are looking at Jalen Hurts right now and saying, my bad, man.
Yeah.
My bad. Our bad. Hey, we got you, man. We'll pick you up next year. We got to be better because he left everything out on the field. If I'm Philly, I'm writing a $400 million check, and I've never felt better about it. No problem.
Yeah, I think Hurts, I mean, not to mention this year, he was injured for 2 games. When he played, they were 14-1. So, I mean, we talk about Hurts and the talent Hurts has. The thing that's impressed me the most is how much he's improved from season to season. I mean, coming into the league, just mechanically being not there or where you expect him to be, and the strides he's taken every single year. I mean, he came in 2020, played only 4 games, started. He had 6 touchdown passes, 4 picks, 52% completion percentage. Followed that up the next season, 61% completion percentage. Started 15 games, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And this is all from the pocket. I haven't even got to the rushing stats. Next season, 66% completion percentage, 22 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and what he's done on the ground. He has the most rushing touchdowns in the Super Bowl ever. I believe he has the most rushing yards for a quarterback ever. Like, that's the big thing about what Jalen Hurts provides. Yes, he's a threat with his legs, but when he sits in the pocket, even with a bad shoulder, you see him complete some throws last night.
Can I ask you something?
Off-script throws. Hurts has proven to the Eagles organization he's their franchise quarterback. And it's much easier when you get an answer like this, when you make a Super Bowl and you get that question answered like the Cowboys. You wish they could have got to the Super Bowl and had Dak Prescott play in the Super Bowl. They paid him prematurely when he was just making it to the first and second round. You know what Hurts can do already before you pay him.
That's the thing. You know, I just said $400 million, and, you know, a few people in the chat are laughing. I don't think you guys understand how this game works. Salary cap going up, Jeff? NFL making more and more money every year?
Right.
So cap's going up. Cap's
Correct.
projected to go up for the foreseeable future.
Correct.
$400 million over 8 years is a $50 million annual salary. Jalen Hurts will set the market, and you need to accept it. Because when franchise quarterbacks set the market, they get FU money.
Top dollar.
Patrick Mahomes, if he were to enter the market right now, he would get $60 million a year. It's when you get paid.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, Stafford was the highest paid. Jared Goff was the highest paid. Matt Ryan was the highest paid. When you hit the market, it matters. And yes, you know, this is why I'm not paying Lamar. I'm not paying Dak, but I'm damn sure going to pay Jalen Hurts because he's proven it.
Right, and I get that.
And yes, are they going to lose a lot of key players? Are they going to have to retool? Sure. I think I've seen enough from Jalen Hurts to say, here's an 8-year contract, not a 10. Because I do have questions about his sustainability because of how many hits he takes.
Yeah, you only give a 10-year deal to probably
Mahomes, Lawrence, Burrow, and
I could argue that's probably it.
That's probably it. Because the type of quarterback they are. But beyond the point, Hurts, 8-year contract, $400 million, give him $50 annually. Move on. There's nothing to doubt. There's nothing to question.
And like I said, it's easier when you get to see him in the Super Bowl. You get to see the talent. Now you know Hurts wasn't the issue last night. It was that defense. Even despite the fumble recovery, for the most part, besides that, Hurts played a damn near perfect game. So Hurts answered all the questions I had for him, at least, how he'd perform on the biggest stage. We know what he looked like in college, but you never seen him on this type of stage in the NFL, and he proved it. So no questions for Hurts. He's the franchise quarterback. I'm curious to see how he develops. I mean, we've seen a small sample size, and he's improving every single year. But now moving forward, when that $50 million cap hit happens to the Eagles, how do they surround him with talent, and what does he do to overcome that? I'm interested to see, but right now you're right. Hurts, there's no questions about Hurts. He was phenomenal yesterday. He really was.
Oh, man, people don't know how. I don't think people understand I'm working and I'm doing a show right now, and that their stupid text messages don't apply to me at the moment, that I can't reply. I can't do everything at one time.
I'm sure everyone knows that.
I don't think they do. They're still texting me. Here we are.
Are you sure it's directed to you?
It is directly towards me. Here we go. Moving on. Moving on from Hurts. I want to talk about. We talked about his ability. You pay the man. Nobody's going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, no question.
Welcome to. I don't want to make it an uncomfortable conversation for you, but you talked to me about Lamar. Like, that's not even close to me between these two. Like, and I mean it. Like, not even close. Hurts, Lamar. Hurts, Dak. Hurts is above everybody in the NFC.
Right.
And he's ahead of most quarterbacks in the AFC. And it's not because he got to a Super Bowl. But look at how pivotal he is to that team. Look at how good he is. He made all the throws yesterday. That Devontae Smith throw, by the way, that was overturned. Rightfully so. If Smith hauls that in, that's the throw of the Super Bowl. That was over the top, perfect placement. That really reminded me of the Mario Manningham catch from Eli Manning. That was such an excellent throw.
Yeah.
I don't doubt Jalen Hurts' ability to lead my football team. I don't doubt his ability to stay healthy. I don't doubt his ability on and off the field. And I don't doubt his ability to throw the football. I can't say the same about Lamar. Can't say the same about Dakota Johnson or whatever the fuck his name is, Dak Prescott.
Dakota Rain.
This is why you
Prescott.
pay him. I don't even know what the hell his name is. That's kind of where I was going with that one.
No, but you're absolutely correct. I think that's what separates. I think Hurts has proven he could kill you strictly from the pocket, but what he could do with his legs adds even more. Makes the offense for the Eagles much more dangerous. So I get what you're saying, and he's proven it. I mean, in the playoffs, Lamar hasn't really proven it in the playoffs. Even though I like Lamar, and I still think he's a franchise quarterback, and I would absolutely pay Lamar. I think if you want to argue me, well, I've seen Hurts have success in the postseason, okay, even though I'd argue it's the Giants in a quarterback-less 49ers team, I would give that to you. And even on the Super Bowl, Hurts showed out. He proved a lot of doubters wrong, and he's been doing that his whole life. So no question for me about Jalen Hurts. I mean, to be the best quarterback in the NFC, and like you said, probably, I mean, if you want to go Patrick, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, maybe Herbert, I think he's the best quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, maybe you could throw him in there.
For what?
But of all in the entire league. I mean, Hurts is what, top 6, I'd say?
No.
Top 5?
No, I think he's top 5.
Because you'd have
He's
Mahomes,
top 5. You have Mahomes, you have Burrow.
And now we're getting to Allen, Herbert, Lawrence.
Josh Allen. I'm not putting Herbert there. Lawrence can be there.
And he's 5 then.
But you know what? No. It's got to be Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Hurts, then Trevor Lawrence, and then Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Hurts is the 4th best quarterback in the NFL right now. You have to earn that.
You could argue he would have been the MVP if he did not get hurt. Yeah.
I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. Love him. But all I hear is Justin Herbert. Well, you got to do something eventually, no?
Yeah.
You got to make the playoffs, no? You got to win a playoff game, no? You got to not blow a 27-0 lead, no?
Yeah, I was going more off just individual talent, I guess, throwing the football.
Yeah, if you're paying guys in the NFL, there's 5-6 guys you're paying. You're backing up the Brinks truck. You're offering max money, however you want to define it in the NFL. You're breaking the market value for them, and that's Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Lawrence, and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Anybody else you want to throw in there? Not Kyler, no. Not Dakota, no. Not Jared Goff, no. Who else?
Maybe a healthy Stafford.
No. Age.
He's outside of that.
Age,
but
I'm not paying him.
No, not in the top 5. I'm not saying that.
So who's getting the big time breaking the bank money? Those are the guys.
Yeah, I would agree.
Those are your 6 best.
Yeah, I would agree.
Unreal.
Hurts, man.
Unreal. Hell of a
Second-round pick,
performance.
too.
I will say.
Second-round pick.
Look, I give you guys a lot of grief when I'm right. I'm definitely going to take it when I'm wrong. I remember a long time ago when we first started the show, I said Jalen Hurts would be out of the league in 2 years. This was before he ever played it down in the NFL.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan. I thought the second round was too high. 1, I was wrong. But 2, and I think more importantly, his evolution from year 1 to year 2, I opened my eyes. I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and die on a hill when the kid clearly is playing good football. Did I expect him to be an MVP candidate this year? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did. But if you did, congratulations. But he's unbelievable. He's everything you want. Again, remember we talk about this? Drafting a quarterback's not a science. What I tell you is the one thing I look for above all else. Do you remember?
It's character is a big one.
No, you're close. But what? What does the individual have to go through?
Some adversity.
Thank you.
I think that's important.
Jalen Hurts, the definition of having gone through adversity, then a second-round pick. It's for some reason. Name me the 6 best quarterbacks. Mahomes, Texas Tech, went through adversity. Trubisky went before.
Yeah.
Who else? Burrow? Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State to LSU.
He was
adversity.
He gave up on.
Trevor Lawrence, okay, maybe not adversity, but at least he lost in the national championship game, so he was humbled a little bit. He's lost big games. He's won big games, so he's at least experienced it. Justin Herbert, no, everybody slept on him coming out of Oregon.
Yeah, not a big program, Oregon.
Not a big program. Nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
Accuracy. The arm strength is off the charts, but he can't throw an accurate football.
He was
in the
called
NFL.
mid coming out.
Josh Allen out of Wyoming adversity. Welcome to the one trend I can clearly say, above all else, I've noticed with the great quarterbacks, and that's they've handled adversity coming into the NFL and then going through it. Yeah. If you want to draft a quarterback, make sure he's gone through adversity. And for all you dumb fucks that want the Lions to draft Anthony Richardson, you know where I'm at. You know where I do the show on 34915 Woodward Avenue, Monday through Friday. Most days, we're out at Feldman today. How about you come take a visit? If you want to talk to me about Anthony Richardson, you know we're going to have a problem this offseason. I'm going to tell you guys from now.
That's where our mock drafts are coming up. I can't wait.
Please don't do this to me.
No, I'm not putting Anthony Richardson in my mock draft.
I hope not. I'll be so disappointed.
Watch it. In the mock drafts we do, he'll probably fall to like the second round, but he's going to go top 10. I still believe that. Top 12.
Oh, man. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. When we get back, top of the hour, the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. You wanted to talk about this. I'm interested to think what you say. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what point you want to make to me with Jared Goff today and the Lions, but I'm gonna hear you out. I hope you're right. We'll get to that all and so much more coming up next. But before we do, Jeff, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. They're awesome stylists. Will take care of you. Like to take care of me. So what are you waiting for? Get to a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey, it's Sean Jordan from the Sports Marketing Agency, and SMA wouldn't be who we are without our amazing partners.
Thank you so much, Sean. You know, at Detroit Wayne, we want to serve as a resource for you and your families. We offer mental health services, substance use disorder services throughout our communities, and we want to be that source and resource within the community.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a mental health or substance abuse issue, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-241-4949.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. As always, Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. We're live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. The Monday after the Super Bowl, things are going to start settling down here pretty soon. A lot of mock drafts, a lot of off-season talk, but you know what? We got to talk about the Lions on this Monday.
We do.
Because the NFC goes through the Eagles right now.
It does.
That's the team.
I would say the 49ers are up there, too.
And you want to talk to me about Jared Goff. What is it? What did you take away yesterday where, you know, you're telling me, hey, man, we got to talk about Goff tomorrow. What's going on?
So I think we agree for the most part. When people talk right now, like, Goff isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl, I think it's ridiculous because we say, just get to the playoffs first. Let's just win a playoff game. Let's just get possibly to an NFC title game. But watching the Super Bowl, I got to ask you, because you see Mahomes with the deal and what he's making. Of course, it's Mahomes. He's the best quarterback on planet Earth.
Yep.
And then you see Hurts with his rookie deal and the talent they were able to acquire and get around Hurts. When you look at Goff, and $30 million isn't typically, I mean, you look at top dollar quarterback money, it's actually not up there for Goff. So he's on a relatively friendly deal. But talent-wise, did you have any thought watching that game yesterday where you said, yeah, and I know the NFC is weak, but talk about quarterback talent. You're like, yeah, this is different with what Hurts can do and what Mahomes can do compared to what Goff can do. Great quarterback, and you could even argue the 49ers made it with Purdy, so I think coaching matters. But you're talking about talent at the quarterback position. there's a drop off at both of those guys in the Super Bowl last night.
I don't think anybody's going to sit here and say Jared Goff is as talented as a Jalen Hurts or Mahomes, but you know what? I don't need him to be. I don't.
But you can make
because
an argument
I've seen
for
Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl. I've seen Eli Manning in the Super Bowl. I've seen Joe Flacco in the Super Bowl. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks in the Super Bowl who are not the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, are they anomalies? No, they're not. It actually happens more often than people want to give it credit for. But I don't need Jared Goff to run for 25, 30 yards down the sideline. I don't need him to rush for 3 touchdowns. You know what I need? I need him to throw for 270 and 2 touchdowns and not turn the ball over. And I got to play good defense.
Yeah.
I got to be great situationally. Keyword great. That's on coaching. Special teams got to be on point. I got to play good defense, man. That's the way the Lions will win with Jared Goff. If you want to sell me on the idea that they need to go out and get their Mahomes, get their Hurts, I would love that. When am I getting them? 'Cause I'm picking 6.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 3 teams are going to take a quarterback before pick 5.
And then 18, good luck. I mean, who's going to be there at 18 to where you love them? So,
again, Hurts second-round pick, anomaly. Breeze second-round pick, anomaly. Sure, it happens. It can happen. You can go for it. Swing and miss. For all I care. I just don't see the quarterback as a need for the Lions right now.
Yeah, that's...
And when you say drop-off, yeah, there's a drop-off. Fine. But I see a drop-off when I look at the Chiefs' wide receiving core compared to Lions. I see a drop-off in terms of the offensive line when I look at the Chiefs compared to Lions.
Right.
I see things that I like more in the Lions that I like for the Eagles or the Chiefs. It's not the most important stuff, but damn it, it's something. So I need to build a team, and I need Aiden Hutchinson and this young defensive front to turn into a Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Hassan Reddick. I need that. I need to go find corners like Gardner Johnson, Trent McDuffie. I need secondary players like this. I got Kirby. I got Tracy Walker. I have a lot of good things going.
Yeah.
But I still need a lot. And no, Jared Goff isn't going to carry my franchise to a dynasty. I don't need him
you don't
to
need
do
him
that.
to, yeah.
How about I go win a division first? How about I go host a playoff game at Ford Field for the first
Which
time?
I believe he can do
How
that.
about I go win a playoff game or 2 and get to an NFC title game? And then when you see the ceiling, when you see the limitation, then you can go and take a chance on a quarterback. But I'm not in the market for a quarterback right now. I'm just not. I know I can win with Goff. I've seen him get to a Super Bowl before. By the way, keyword, he's been to a Super Bowl. Matt Ryan's been to a Super Bowl. I've seen quarterbacks get to Super Bowls, man. It's doable. You got to have good coaching.
Yep.
You got to have a good defense. You got to have a good offense. You got to be a balanced football team. You got to do the small things right. You got to be great situationally. All things I hope we associate with the Lions in years to come. But nobody was talking about getting Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City until they hit their ceiling with Alex Smith.
Right.
We haven't in Detroit hit our ceiling with Jared Goff. I'm not interested in the quarterback market.
And it helps, too. We talked last week about what the Lions have in common with these two teams in the Super Bowl. You talk about top 5 offenses overall in yards per game. The Lions are up there with the Chiefs, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Bills, the Bengals. So offensively, they're on the right track. I think it's more defensively. But the reason why I asked the question is when you see shootouts like that in the Super Bowl, do you flinch a little bit knowing you have Goff? And that's why I asked the question.
Because if you're going to get there, you're not going to get there because of Jared Goff. You're relying on him 17, 20 games a season.
Right.
No.
To me, it's about...
you're not going to falter. You're not going to deviate from who you are.
Right.
If you get there and you're going up against Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence or Patrick Mahomes one day. No, you're not, because you know you're outgunned at quarterback, but you have all these pieces around him that got you there. You're there for a reason. Right. So no, I don't see it.
And 2 things will help too. I mean, if we know Dan Campbell, if we think he is as good as we think he is, I think the most of it will work out. But along with that, the offensive line. I mean, the Chiefs, the Eagles, 2 best. You could argue the Lions are in that conversation for the best offensive lines in the league. Goff has all the tools around him offensively. We just got to get that defense fixed, and we should see. But I have full faith Goff can do what we've talked about, which is win a division, coast a playoff game, win a playoff game. I think he's good enough to do all those things. And I think writing a guy off at 28 years old is a little premature just because of what he did in his previous years with LA. To me, it's a little premature, but we'll see. It'll all play out in front of us. So when you get there, you can decide if he's the one holding you back. But right now, he's not.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you go redraft the Trevor Lawrence draft, all right? Trevor Lawrence, I believe it went Zach Wilson, then Trey Lance, right?
Yep, that was 1, 2, and 3.
Add Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Where do they go in that draft?
Well, it's tough. Hindsight, they would clearly go in front. At the time, I think they'd still go. I think maybe Bryce over Zach Wilson, but I think the rest after that, it's all just pick your flavor.
Let's go even further back. Joe Burrow selected number 1 overall. That draft, that's the Okuda draft, is it not? It was Joe Burrow, Chase Young. Yep. So now put those quarterbacks in that draft class. Washington probably still take Chase Young. I don't think anybody was going to talk them off of that. Justin Herbert went at 6, and Tua went at 5.
Yeah.
Are they going before Herbert and Tua? So there's no alpha in this draft.
Tough one.
Well, we have so much time for draft talk. I don't even want to get into it, but the point I'm making is you're not picking at 1 where you have the world in front of you and you can either trade back or grab the franchise. I don't see it. I just don't see it. It doesn't make sense for the Lions. They should worry about amplifying this defense, getting it so much better, getting it to a point where, look, you saw what you did. What happens when you support Jared Goff with a top 15 defense, which they were in the final 10 games.
Right.
What was their record? I forget.
8-2 down the stretch.
Oh, with the top 15 defense.
Yes.
Oh. So you can win with Jared Goff?
You can.
You can win divisions with him?
He's proven
Playoff
that.
games?
Yes. Yes, he's proven that as well.
Oh. I don't know why. I thought he'd never won anything before. Build the defense. Bring in some good players. Go for the North. One building block at a time. And when you get to a point where Jared Goff has given you everything and it's just not good enough to get to a Super Bowl or get to an NFC title game then we can have that conversation. Yep. But to sit here and act like this is priority 1 for the Lions, I think it's a joke. I just do. And yeah, maybe the Lions are outmatched at quarterback. But in the NFC, are they outmatched? I don't think so.
49ers were outmatched. Still made it to an NFC title game.
The Lions will only be outmatched this year in the NFC at the quarterback position if they play Philadelphia, which they don't. Think about that. They will only be outmatched at the quarterback position when they go up against AFC teams and the Eagles only. But not against anybody else. They're not outmatched against Cousins, not Fields, not Dak, not Taylor Heineke, not Bryce Young if he goes to the NFC, not Stroud if he goes to the NFC, not Kyler, not Matthew Stafford, who has no offensive line and no run game and no weapons outside of Cooper Kupp coming off a bad ankle injury, torn ACL a few years prior to that. Yeah, no, that's over. That project's over. Who? Geno Smith? Oh, can I enlighten you with Jameis Winston? Or Derek Carr if he goes to the Saints. Who would it be? Oh, Atlanta, Desmond Ridder. You are not outmatched in the NFC.
No.
Quarterback is not a problem to me. Hurts is the only quarterback right now you could argue better. Not argue, it's definitively. He's better than everybody in the NFC.
Yeah.
He's number 1. There's a big gap between 1 and 2, but number 2 is Jared Goff right now. It's just the reality.
Yeah. Take that as how you will. I mean, whether you say the NFC is bad at the quarterback position or simply Goff is the second best in the conference. Either way, you're correct.
And it's a weak conference, right?
Yeah.
It comes with context. You throw Goff in the AFC, he's not even top 8. But it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be top 8.
It's just the facts.
The reality is in the NFC, I have a really good quarterback compared to most teams in the NFC.
Right.
I'm either on the same level or above them.
Right.
The only one higher than me is Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll deal with that problem in the postseason. Let me go win the North. Let me go win a playoff game. Let me go set some trends. Let me break some records. Let me do something that hasn't happened in 3 decades in this state. How about I host a playoff game? How about I win one? How about I win a division title? It's been almost 30 years, well over 30 years for the playoff win, almost 30 years to the day for the division. So come on, let's go, people. Let's go. Let's stop talking about Super Bowls. Let's start talking about building blocks.
Yeah.
And yes, if Jared Goff has a ceiling and you're disappointed, but in a 3-year run he gives you 2 division titles, 2 playoff wins, and a championship appearance in the NFC conference game, anybody complaining? Because I'm not.
No.
Now, would you say, oh, well, we need to draft the next guy? Yeah, of course. That's where Brad Holmes, again, he's your superhero. Can he find the quarterback? When? Is it this year, next year, the year after? I don't know. I just know right now they need defense more than anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking a quarterback in the first round.
And the thing is, you look at Philly, and even winning a Super Bowl, drafting Hurts in the second round, and we talked about it last week, them being back in the Super Bowl with a pretty much completely different roster. It speaks to, well, it kind of answers the question people bring up was, well, we have the 6th pick this year, and you're not going to have a pick like that in the future. The Eagles didn't worry about it. They won the Super Bowl and still found their franchise quarterback. So like you say all the time on the show, there's no science to drafting a quarterback. You just got to have a damn good general manager, and you got to trust him.
We got some really smart people in the chat today. We got Real Collins saying everybody's playing for the Super Bowl. Jeff, 4 teams in the title game. They win their division?
4 teams in the title game?
Mm-hmm.
Correct, yeah.
3 of the 4 teams the year prior won their division in the title game?
Yeah.
Chiefs, Bills.
Yeah.
Niners, wild card. And then the Rams won their division. How about the year prior? All 4 division winners.
You got to win your division.
If you want to be talked about as a Super Bowl contender, I have a reality for you. If you're a Super Bowl contender, it's a given you're probably winning your division. So how about you fucking do that first before we talk about a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I'm waiting. My dad's waiting. All of your parents are waiting. You're waiting, I'm sure. Fish is waiting. Stick is waiting. It's getting ridiculous. Stop talking to me about Super Bowls. Start with the building blocks. Go out and win the North, and then we'll talk about a team that can contend. Go win a playoff game. Get to a divisional round. Get to a championship game, dare I say.
Right.
Ridiculous. All right, we'll take a break. When we get back, did officiating overshadow what was a brilliant Super Bowl? I'm in the minority, apparently, because I thought the officials were excellent, minute 1 to minute 60, but I guess I watched a completely different game. The hell if I know. Did officiating overshadow the Super Bowl? We'll get to that next. Does the NFL have an officiating problem? All that and so much more. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Cintron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages and premium bottled water. Cintron is fashionable, functional, and fun if you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste. Cintron is your top choice. Buy online at drinkcintron.com. Cintron is also available at Amazon.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Market, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Iafrate here with Alta, and at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
You know, this is an interesting stat, by the way, from Marcus Mosher on Twitter. Take a look at the leading rusher from the last 14 Super Bowls and their base salary. The Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco, $870K. The Rams last year, Cam Akers, $890K. The Buccaneers, Leonard Fournette, $2 million. The Chiefs the year prior to that, Damian Williams, $1 million. The Patriots the year prior to that, Sony Michel, $480K. The Eagles prior to that, LeGarrette Blount, $900K. The year prior, LeGarrette Blount with the Patriots, $760K. The year prior to that, the Broncos, C.J. Anderson, $580K. The Patriots prior to that, LeGarrette Blount, $730K. The year before that, the Seahawks, Percy Harvin. Remember that name? $2.5 million. The Ravens the year prior to that, Ray Rice, $2 million. The Giants, Ahmad Bradshaw, $1.5 million. The Packers, James Starks, $320K. The Saints, Pierre Thomas, $460,000. That's your last 14. That's your last 14 Super Bowl champions. Talk to me more about drafting Bijan Robinson, you dumb fucks. You're not drafting him in the first round. You're drafting him day 3 at best. You're going out, you're getting your Pacheco in the 7th round, your Tyler Algier in the 5th round. That's what you're doing. Miss me with the idea of drafting a running back in the first round. I saw it. I thought I'd bring it up. Please. No running back in the first round.
It's an interesting
I
stat.
hope we all... It's the truth. It's not a stat. It's just the truth.
Yeah,
you
no.
don't overpay a meaningless position that having an all-pro doesn't mean anything. You know why? Because if I don't run the ball effectively on 3rd and 1, 4th and short, or at the goal line, Jeff, I have a secret for you. You're not going to win. Bijan Robinson.
And you talk about
I can't wait for this offseason.
And you talk about teams that are running back oriented or focused. They typically you lose in the playoffs.
Yep.
We've seen it. So it's a different NFL.
Speaking of losing, did the refs cost the Eagles? Did the officiating in general overshadow the Super Bowl? I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah.
Because I think you have a few problems with what happened.
I don't, and I'll explain why. Because I can only go off of the opinion of the man that was involved on that very play, which was James Bradbury. And the fact that he came out and even said, admittedly, and this is what I love about James Bradbury is how the transparency, by the way, he said when asked about the specific holding call, he said, quote, "It was a holding," quote. He said, "I tugged his jersey. I was hoping they would let it slide." So I think that ends the conversation. The guy that committed the penalty admittedly said it was a penalty, and he was hoping the ref didn't notice it. Whether you think about it or not, or whether the ball was catchable, I think that's more of an argument. Saying
I don't think this is a fan conversation.
The ball was uncatchable. I get what you're saying, but when James Bradbury comes on and admits it was a call, it was legitimate, and even Juju Smith-Schuster, obviously we know what he's going to say.
Well,
but
that's
I think
the
it was
problem.
fair.
If you're an Eagles fan, it's a soft call. If you're a Chiefs fan, it's the right call.
Yeah.
There's no right, but the truth is it was a holding call. And I don't think officiating had any impact on the game. I thought they were excellent. I thought officiating stayed out of the way. There was no controversy. Rightfully so, they overturned the Devontae Smith catch.
Yep.
I thought that was the best, the most impressive. I would say the refs won a lot of brownie points last night. I'll say that. I thought the refs were excellent. They didn't make many mistakes. And that's what I want. I want the two teams to decide the game, and they did. And they did. If the Eagles are upset, maybe they should not put together the worst punt in NFL history that I've seen in my life, by the way.
And it was honestly the inconsistency. I mean, you watched the game early on, Juju. There was a call that probably should have been PI that they didn't call on Juju. And then late in the game, they called that holding penalty. Personally, I would have just let them play. I mean, I think that's ideal. But if we're going off the call itself and what it looked like, that's a call. That's a holding call. Like, I'm not mad at the call itself. Now, would you have liked to see them just play and the refs don't get involved? Of course. But James shouldn't be put himself in that situation to even allow the ref to call it. So it kind of goes both ways. Do I want to see a call that late in the game to decide the Super Bowl? No. But at the same time, James Bradbury, he has to be aware enough to not put his team in that situation to give the ref the opportunity to make that call. So I think the argument, it goes both ways. The Chiefs were in field goal range regardless. They were getting 3 points. Hurts just didn't get to touch the ball because of that call.
With a lot more time on the clock.
I think he would have had like a minute and 20 seconds, something like that. So,
well, you know what? Don't hold, buddy. We're throwing flags.
Yeah, I mean...
refs had a great game. I have nothing bad to say about the refs.
No, the refs for the most part, I had no complaints about the entirety of the game. If you're frustrated with the call, I'm sorry. I mean,
if you're frustrated, you should be frustrated with your special teams, because that's truly what cost you the game.
That Tony play at the end,
not the Hurts fumble, not the hold, nothing. You know what cost you the game? Special teams, shockingly.
Right.
Sean Payton, when he called that, I was like, oh my goodness,
he's unreal.
That was brutal. That's brutal. When a coach is on TV saying, hey, they got a problem with special teams, watch out, that might be the deciding factor, and it ends up being the factor, or deciding factor, excuse me. Brutal. Was the holding call crap? Did you want to see Jalen Hurts get a chance to tie the game?
Of course.
Yeah, as a fan, you want to see it, but the reality is they didn't deserve to touch the ball because he impeded and held Juju Smith-Schuster.
And if you're that frustrated as an Eagles fan, then tell your defense to stop giving up wide open catches in the end zone. I mean, the McKinnon touchdown was wide open. Travis Kelce wide open.
Andrew Smith gets it, man. Andrew Smith gets it. Jeff Okudah would have just let him go and let him run by and score a touchdown. I agree. So, you know what? Next time, just let him go and score.
That's
what number 3 overall picks
in that
do,
situation, you'd probably prefer him just to give up a touchdown. Because at least then you have a chance to drive down. But, yeah, you know what? It is what it is.
All the talk, by the way, about Darius Slay getting his ankles broken, that is the most unguardable play in the NFL at the goal line. You're expecting either a run or a quick in where they throw it right away and he goes right into the 2 blockers. The second he puts his foot in the ground, remember, corners are reacting to the wide receiver. The wide receiver knows what he's going to do. He's going full speed inside, puts his foot in the ground, goes back to the outside. Of course he's going to be wide open. That's how the Rams scored a touchdown to win the Super Bowl the year prior.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp. It's the same stuff. You put your foot in the ground. It's the most unguardable play. Andy Reid's great at doing it. You saw them do it with Sky Moore to an extent. Not the same play, but similar in how open he was. So at the end of the day, it's hard to play that position. I'm not going to knock Darius Slay. Hell of a season, hell of a corner. James Bradbury, you see what Deebo Samuel said about him, by the way? Called him trash.
It's so funny. Mean. He was like one of the top 5 most targeted corners, and he had like one of the lowest pass ratings allowed. But the part I agree with about Deebo is having an elite defensive line. It helps a little bit, but you can't deny. I mean,
he was a good corner, man.
He's a good corner. I mean, are we going to say he's trash?
Deebo's an asshole. He's
because I respect Slay.
Deebo's bitter,
I respect Slay, but
he's
trash.
bitter. He was probably getting a lot of trash talk from Bradbury during the game.
How frustrating is that? You lose because your quarterback gets hurt? I mean, you don't even legitimately lose the way you'd expect to if you were to lose. Man. What about Robbie Gould? He came out and talked about Hurts. If you make him play quarterback,
yeah, well, you know what? Hurts played great.
He played quarterback,
so he played a lot of quarterback.
300 yards passing. So.
Again, how do you walk away as a Philly fan? Like, where are you at? If you're a Philly fan,
I'm livid because of that defense. That's what you hone in on. That's what you take pride in is how good your defense was and your pass rush was. And then you get to the Super Bowl and you can't get to Mahomes once. You can't get to him once on a hobbled leg. And not only that, you give up 31 points if you take away the
special team session.
The special team. But besides that, 31 points to this Eagles defense, the secondary. I mean, they didn't give up a ton of yards passing, but they gave up some big plays. So the secondary is not absolved from criticism either. I mean, they didn't look good defensively.
But silver lining, I think you're waking up in Philly this morning. You're saying, you know what? We run the NFC. We're the most complete team in the NFC. We're going to be able to bring some players back. We'll restructure. We'll pay Jalen Hurts, no problem. But I think that's the best part. Is you're a Philly fan, you woke up today knowing you have a franchise quarterback. There are no doubts anymore.
Yeah.
You know for the next 7-8 years, Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy in Philly. And that, to me, is a really good feeling.
Yeah.
Philly should be proud. They played a hell of a game. Somebody's got to lose. What are you going to do?
And I feel like, you know what I feel like, too? This game, and clearly different stage, but the regular season game where the Lions would lose by 3. It was like the Seahawks game. The Lions lost by 3 to the Seahawks, but Jared Goff threw a pick 6, and everyone blamed Goff.
Yep.
But then you look at your defense, and
it's
they don't force
you didn't allow a single punt.
That's kind of how I feel with Hurts. It's like, the fumble recovery for a touchdown and changed the game, but we're going to say that was his fault.
So, not even how they lost or why they lost. They lost
context.
because one team came out in the second half with a new plan.
Right.
And the other came out with the same plan. And one team innovated and were proactive, and the other team were stagnant and reacted. And that's why they got hurt on special teams. It's why the defense couldn't get off the field. Shane Steichen going to get a job in Indy, though, huh? Interesting. Aaron Glenn, I think that all but shores up Aaron Glenn staying in Detroit. Yeah. I don't think he's going to get a job anywhere. Arizona, I believe, hired, not yet.
No, they're still looking for a head coach.
Brian Flores, DC, and Minnesota now. So, we'll see. It's got to be an adult move in Arizona.
Maybe Mike Kafka? I would like an experienced head coach, but
if I'm
Kafka's
Mike Kafka,
probably the best
I look
available.
At that. I look at D-Hop. I look at Hollywood Brown. I got a lot of pieces to work with, sure, but I got stubborn pieces, guys that are not coachable to an extent.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck, Arizona. Good luck.
And the
I'm glad you're
reports
gonna
about
suck.
Kyler Murray and how coaches are hesitant to take that job just because of
Nobody
Kyler.
wants to coach
I know,
him.
that's terrible.
Think
and
about
I believe
it.
that.
Think
I do.
about it. I have $50 million right now. $50 million. I have to shell it out for the next 10 years. Who am I giving it to? Just go off through all the NFL quarterbacks right now. I'm paying Burrow.
Mahomes, Burrow, Allen.
Okay, Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert.
I'm paying him.
Probably,
I'm paying Lawrence.
And I think Allen's,
And I'm
excuse
paying
me,
Hurts.
has kind of entered that
So
conversation.
those
as
are the
well.
first 6. Who
Yeah.
else?
I don't think
I'm not paying Dak.
I'm not paying.
Who are we not paying? Not paying Dak.
No,
Not paying
Kyler.
Kyler.
No.
Not paying Jared $50 million.
No, I'm not paying Jared
I'm not
$50
paying
million.
Tannehill $50.
Nope.
I'm not paying Kenny Pickett $50. I'm not paying Kyler $50. I'm not paying Stafford $50. There are 6 quarterbacks that are worthy of FU money. There are 6, quote, quarterbacks in the NFL, technically. And yes, I'm not counting Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford for the most part because they're probably on their way out.
Yeah.
They're not part of the future of the NFL, okay? Geno Smith, you're going to shell out $50 million a year for him?
Hell no. Yeah, so
Unbelievable. Unreal. To this moment, though, Jeff and Gentry show, by the way. Debo called out Bradbury, said he was trash, and ended up costing the game. I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
Technically,
I don't believe he cost him the game.
Not well.
I don't.
In that part of the game, that play was crucial. I mean, that pretty much
Every
essentially
play is
gave
crucial,
it gave. I know, but that play pretty much didn't give the Eagles another opportunity to score. That ended it. Because you don't think the Eagles, you give them a minute 20 to get a field goal? You don't think they can do that?
They can, but who says they will?
I get it,
The Chiefs'
but they didn't
defense
even
were
have an
making stops
opportunity.
all second half.
After that holding call, they had zero opportunity to even tie that game. Zero.
It's their fault. Shouldn't have given up special teams return
true.
all the way
No,
at the
I
5-yard
agree.
line.
I agree. But that's the last play we remember.
It hurts my soul. Hurts my soul. Hurts my soul. Look, we'll take a break. When we get back, way too early predictions for next year. The Lions, I can't believe it. The Lions have the 8th highest odds to get to the Super Bowl next year. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. We'll talk about that next. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Well, we watched 2 great defenses yesterday, but let me be honest with you. It's nothing compared to Guardian Alarm and what they can do for your home. The professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. And on top of that, 24/7 professional monitoring. You can call them any day or night and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you for as long as you need. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security has been proven. It's deserving of something that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT
Russia.
today,
Volkanovski
and Guardian
should
Alarm
won.
will help you
Stay
out. Call
out.
1-800-STAY-OUT.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
All right, start your weight loss journey today with Custom Health Centers. Dr. Jason Ryan Ermanni, already down over 20 pounds. He's doing a hell of a job with Dr. Jason. My brother finished his first week down 6 pounds. By the way.
Wow, good for him.
Good for him. He was dying at the Super Bowl party. He couldn't eat anything. Yeah. You got to take your diet. Discipline, man. Discipline. So check him out. Call Dr. Jason, 844-789-8446. That's the number. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live. WoodwardSports.com, and the Lions are plus 2,500, the 8th highest odds, tied for the 8th highest odds going into next year, Jeff. In the NFC, they are legit contenders in the NFC because of the landscape of what it is. It's weak. Do I think they're ready to dethrone a Philadelphia Eagle team? Or even San Francisco to an extent? I don't know. But if Brad Holmes hits on a corner or two and a linebacker, boy, I think we're talking about an 11-12 win football team that I think can play with anybody. Do I think they can win the Super Bowl? I'm not going to throw that on them next year. But you know what? Nobody thought that the Eagles would be in the Super Bowl this year, so who am I to gatekeep and say no? What I will say is they got to get a corner or two. They got to get a linebacker. There's a lot to do with this team. They got to get a running back later on in the draft. And then the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit in the NFC. I don't hate it. I'm not putting my money on it. But damn it, Jeff, what do you think?
And I love, though, just looking at the teams that are around the Lions for these odds. You have the Lions at plus 2,500. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars at plus 2,500. The Packers at plus 2,500, which to me is a little overrated. Then right below them, slightly better odds, is the Chargers at plus 2,000. And even if you go behind them, some of these teams as well, which is hilarious. The Rams plus 3,000, the Dolphins plus 3,000, even the Broncos with Sean Payton plus 3,500. But you know what team makes me the most happy to see him on here? The Minnesota Vikings, plus 4,000. The fact that the Lions have they have better odds to win the Super Bowl, and this is even before next season, shows to kind of what we've been speaking of winning your division. Clearly, just by the odds makers, they see what the Lions are building, but this is all just talk. I mean, am I going to put money on the Lions to make the Super Bowl? Hell no, I'm not going to do that. But the fact that they're even in this conversation around other teams that I can see legitimately making the Super Bowl or making a Super Bowl run, it's great news. It really is. To even be having this conversation, I think, is the biggest thing for me. So you have better odds than the Vikings? Check. And you have better odds than the Rams, who just won the Super Bowl before this previous one. So they're in a pretty good position.
I think the lock to bet on is the Lions to win the North. I do.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I know that sounds crazy,
no,
but
not.
I don't think it is.
No, 5-1 in your division.
I think it's crazy to say the Vikings are going to somehow win 12, 13 games again next year.
Yeah.
11-0 in one-possession games. If they play 8 one-possession games this year, they would be lucky to be 4-4. That's how close and difficult the NFL is. To go 11-0 is absurd. They deserved it. Credit to them. But at the end of the day, the Lions, in my opinion, I think that's the best bet. You're going to get them at plus money likely this year.
Yeah.
Bet on the Lions to win the North. I think that's the early lock. I think it's the easiest money to make. Who's in their way? It's not Green Bay. It's not Chicago. Minnesota, you can make a case, but the Lions handled them both games and only blew it at Minnesota early on in the year when they were struggling. So
yeah, their defense has to make significant a stride forward, because I think the Vikings got better by just hiring Flores. I don't know how much better you can make that defense, but they improved. And if the Lions can get to where we expect them to be defensively, there's no question. I don't think you're crazy at all saying they can win the division, because besides really the Vikings, even the Vikings are 5-1. You're almost 2-0 against the Vikings last year. With that team who's going to improve next season, the Vikings don't really have a lot of room to improve with the money they have tied up. So Lions, to me, they're in the front seat as of right now. We'll see how the offseason and what they do in the draft.
If they nail a linebacker, if they can land a corner or two, this is the best team
some
in the
free
NFC outside of the Niners and the Eagles.
Absolutely.
I think they're better than Dallas. I think they're better than the Rams. I think they're better than everybody outside of San Francisco and the Eagles.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's it.
I would
Get a
agree.
linebacker. Get 2 corners.
Fix
Let's
that
move on,
defense.
boys. Let's move on. Let's start winning some damn games. Let's start winning some meaningful games. The Lions, baby, early Super Bowl favorites. Well, not favorites, but among some of the 8 most favorite teams. It's good company, and I'm shocked that they have the Sean Payton coached Broncos at plus 3,500. I think everybody's learning their lesson from last year with Russell Wilson.
I was going to say, where that all entails? It's Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't think that has anything to do with Sean Payton. If anything, if Sean Payton wasn't there, they probably have plus 6,000. So, if anything, Sean Payton helps them, but still got Russell Wilson in that contract. You got to figure that out.
Do you think the Lions will be better than Kansas City?
No, hell no. Oh, no.
That's the problem. If you put the Lions in the AFC, I don't think they make the playoffs next year.
It's tough. I mean, that is a bloodbath.
But now you are going to go into next year in the NFC, given the state that it's in. The Lions, at minimum, should win 10 games. At minimum, should be a wild card team. And their ceiling should be to go win 12 games, win the North, and host a playoff game.
Yep.
And I think they can win it. Because who are they going to play? They're not playing the Eagles or the Niners in the wild card round. So they'll play Dallas. They'll play...
Could be the Giants
They'll play
again.
the Rams. They'll play the Giants.
If they make it
they'll
again.
play somebody that you really
Vikings.
think you can beat.
Yeah,
and
Vikings.
you'll probably be the favorite. So I can't believe we're having this conversation.
Yeah,
I
but-
remember at 1-6, I was ready to kill myself. Look at what we're doing now, huh? Look at us. Look at us.
And we'll see. It's up to them how they start next season. Can't be 1-6 again.
Can't start 1-6 again.
Got to be above
a
500.
disaster.
Yeah. And to ask me if they could beat the Chiefs, that's why we're not betting money on them to beat the Chiefs.
Because if I bet my money on Andy Reid and Mahomes, I'm pretty sure I'm going to bet against Jared Goff and Dan Campbell.
Right.
I'm taking the better head coach and the better quarterback.
You did it this year.
If I'm going to do it against a better Philly team, why the hell would I do it for the Lions?
Right.
Come on, guys. Right. Come on. Look, some teams just have special. The Chiefs have it.
Yeah.
You can't bet against them.
They're going to win another 14 games next season. And they'll probably win their division once again.
They'll go 12-5 next year.
That's what I thought. I thought they'd win 10 games this year. They went 14-3.
They're not winning 14 next year. But you can't doubt Mahomes and Reid, can you?
No.
You think Ermanni gets the job?
Probably an OC
Even Andy
job.
Reid went out of his way yesterday and was like, "Hey man, Eric Bieniemy, let me tell you, so special to this team. We'd be nothing without him."
Honestly, if he wants to get a job, a head coaching job, you got to go be an OC somewhere else. You can't be an OC for Andy Reid. You'll never get credit. You'll never get credit. That's why he's already in conversations with Baltimore, Washington. Go somewhere else. Kind of grow your own flower. Go out and grow your own career. Under Andy Reid, it's hard to. Is it Andy? Is it Eric Bieniemy? Go somewhere where you're the OC and you're going to get 100% of the credit. And maybe you can get a job.
I'm not hiring him. So.
But that's always the thing with Eric is, does he call plays? Or is it mostly Andy Reid?
I think he's part of it. I do think so he's too. Underrated, but if you're interviewing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times and you're still not getting a job, maybe something's wrong with you.
Or it's where you're working. Notice how the quarterback coaches get plucked away. Everybody that was a quarterback, Mike Kafka. You have even Blanken, head coach of the Chicago Bears, who just was fired. Now he's back. Quarterback coach Nagy
just won a Super Bowl.
These guys get jobs, but then there's Eric Bieniemy. He's never got an opportunity to get a head coaching job. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll take a break. When we get back, way too early Super Bowl predictions for 2023. Jeff and I will share our final thoughts, and then we'll get to Mailbag and wrap up the show. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Chili Peppers Tanning.
Let me tell you about them, guys. Listen, if you like fish and you need a tan, but it's not sunny outside as you like it, go to Chili Peppers Tanning, and they'll take care of you. The cleanest salons in the D, spotless, sanitized rooms, and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. And by the way, hottest bulbs, darkest tans, hottest deals, your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan Will.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. Because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Let me tell you about our friends at Big Boy, because wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. You could try the classic meatloaf or Cajun chicken Alfredo, but how about breakfast as well? They got the stuffed potato pancakes. They're officially back, but if not, you can get the Lumberjack, the Santa Fe Garden, or the Blockbuster. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Jeff, I know it's early, 364, 65 days away. Talk to me. Super Bowl next year. Just face value. Are we going to see the same two teams again next year?
I think that's typically what, that's what I think most would think. You're looking at the NFC. Who's challenging the Eagles legitimately next year? I don't know. I think the Eagles would be the team to beat, and that goes really for the AFC as well. I don't really see a team dethroning the Chiefs. I mean, you have the Bengals who might lose T. Higgins this offseason. We'll see. I think the only team that could dethrone the Chiefs, in my opinion, with how they're currently constructed and what they're doing at the quarterback position is the Bengals. But if I had to make a prediction on who will be back next season, man, I'm leaning towards a rematch. I really am. I don't. If you're going to tell me, okay, well, the Bengals will beat the Chiefs, I'd be okay. Considering before this year they've beaten them in the playoffs, I'll give you that. But if we're going off this year to next year, I mean, until convinced otherwise, I don't see a team taking down the Eagles, and I don't see a team taking down the Chiefs. If the 49ers, if Trey Lance is the quarterback we thought he was coming out of college, maybe the 49ers can make a run because I love Kyle Shanahan, love what he does, even without Trey Lance, with Brock Purdy, whoever it is at quarterback. I think they'd be the only team that would contend for the NFC. But, man, given what's going on currently with their rosters and where they're at the quarterback position, to me, it's the Chiefs and the Eagles. And if it's not them, it's the 49ers and the Bengals. But besides those two teams, I don't see the Bills. I picked the Bills this year to go to the Super Bowl. Boy, I was wrong. And I don't see them, dethroning the Bengals or the Chiefs. So,
yeah,
to me, the two teams that were in each title game, I think will be back. It really depends on whoever you like.
I'm trying to think of teams that maybe we're sleeping on or we're forgetting about. I think the Bills have a lot of work to do. They need to establish the run game. They need to improve the offensive line. They got to help Gregory Rousseau out, but they're committed to that Von Miller contract. Yeah. So a lot of work to do. Way too early. It's easy to say Chiefs and Eagles.
And by the way,
to be the champ, you got to beat them. Joe Burrow's the only one that's proven he can beat Patrick Mahomes in the current landscape of the AFC. If I were to bet my money on two teams getting there that aren't the Chiefs or Eagles, I put my money on the Bengals, and I put my money on the Niners.
That's
all I can do.
We just said that we agree.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Besides the two teams that are in the Super Bowl, I think the two teams that were in the championship
I don't know
games.
how I can disagree.
Right.
I don't know how I can disagree.
And this is before the draft, before free agency. We don't know how a lot of things are going to turn up.
I think the Bills have too much to do.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody in the NFC contending with the Eagles outside of the Niners.
No.
I got a lot of questions, man. I do, and I don't really have answers.
No, I can't even come out and say, well, here's a bold one. I can say, this team.
Maybe
I can't confidently say.
Let's go to the AFC outside of the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. Who could make a run? Way too early, but who? Could it be Lamar and the Ravens? Could it be the Sean Payton Broncos with that defense? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying a lot of these teams. Trevor Lawrence, I think it's too early.
Yeah, one team I do like as a sleeper is the Jags, because you got Doug Peterson. He's proven it. You got Trevor Lawrence. You're going to get Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk.
Calvin Ridley does come back
If that defense
next year.
can piece together, I think the Jags would be a team you could sleep on. They'll win their division. So that's a team to watch out for. But even besides them, yeah, you're right. The four teams in the title game are
well, look, I
me.
want Jeff's final thoughts on Super Bowl 57, your biggest takeaways, your overall thoughts on the game before we wrap up here and get to Mailbag.
I think solidified what I thought of Patrick Mahomes and the talent he possesses, being probably, you can argue, the most talented quarterback to ever grace turf. But the other person that was solidified for me is Andy Reid. I mean, being one of the all-time greatest coaches, what he's been able to do. But the other thing that actually solidified was Jalen Hurts and him being a franchise quarterback. I mean, even me being skeptical, believed in the Eagles all year. But Jalen Hurts, to me, I needed to see more, and I saw it last night. So really the big takeaways for me is both talents at quarterback. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and what I thought of them before the game and what I think of them now. So just solidifying, and that was a big thing to take away. But specifically, if you look on the other side, too, the Eagles, what Nick Sirianni was able to do, I think going into it, I was skeptical, didn't know how he'd perform on the stage and what just decision-making in general. Him being as aggressive as he was early on with the Eagles, going forward on fourth down, trying to keep Mahomes off the field, something we talked about last week, that was a big deal. You'll see moving forward now, replacing Shane Steichen, really what the Eagles are made of. I mean, Sirianni's the play caller, and I still think even if you lose Steichen, you lose some pieces defensively, and even, let's say, Kelsey retires, maybe they won't be as good as they were this year, but they're still going to be good. So that's why it's hard to bet against them. I mean, Hurts is going to continue to improve. We know that. He was an MVP candidate this year. He might have a chance to win it next year. But besides them, the Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC. So you can learn a lot from the Super Bowl watching it. Most of it is really has to do with the quarterbacks. But besides that, you really didn't learn anything new about the Chiefs. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I've been high on the Chiefs for weeks, for a long time, even in this postseason on the show. But I didn't learn really much new about those guys. It just solidified what I already thought of them.
Fair enough. Champions, great champions. I thought the Eagles were great losers. They were so humble. They were so professional.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about Nick Sirianni as a coach, Jalen Hurts as a player. There's always positives to take away, even from heartbreak and even from things that they don't go your way. And if you're an Eagles fan, it's your second Super Bowl in 5 years. You should be proud. Howie Roseman, a hell of a job turning around the team. You're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts, sure, but, no matter what's next, you got the quarterback, you think you have the coach, you have a foundation there, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. The future's bright for Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
They should be proud of what they did. Kansas City, what can I say? You said everything about Reid and Mahomes that I could say 10 times over, and I can never say it enough of how good they are.
No.
So
They solidified what we already thought of them. So
all right.
We'll see.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We'll take a quick break. When we get back, mailbag time. Get all of your questions in the chat. Jeff and I will answer them when we get back. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Let me tell you about them, guys. Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance for your commercial insurance review. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Give them a shot and you won't be disappointed. Contact them, Mark at SwissINS.com for more information.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com as always. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. Thank you to everybody joining us. Super Bowl 57 finally a close. Man, let's start with mailbag. We'll start with D. Smitty. Does the Super Bowl win make Andy Reid a Hall of Fame head coach? See, that's where I differ with you. I thought he was before, and to be honest, I thought he was a Hall of Fame head coach before he won with Mahomes. 19 years of excellence. 8 AFC title appearances, NFC title appearances total combined. The guy's special. Super Bowl appearance. I didn't need a Super Bowl to validate his greatness. He's just now at a different level now that he's won 2, Jeff.
Yeah, and I feel the exact same way. Didn't really change much, in my opinion, of Andy Reid. If anything, it just solidified what we, like I said, we already thought. He's a Hall of Fame head coach. Winning a Super Bowl doesn't, decide that. It's been decided for me personally. So, moving on.
All
questions.
Right. Go for it.
Chad Henne. Oh, did you see Chad Henne retired? 2-time champion.
Oh, did
Michigan
he?
legend.
Good for him. Good for him.
Chad Henne.
I want to know how Kelsey was so wide open so many times. That's not a defense problem, man. It's just how good he is. My buddy asked the 3 of us this weekend, tell me what you think. Will the Lions be in the NFC Championship game in the next 3 years? I said yes. My other buddies said no. I'm going to say yes. But it's so dependent. So that's the problem. If you're asking me to project, I'm hopeful Dan Campbell is good enough. I'm hopeful that they will build the roster I think it'll take to get there. I do think they're one of the better rosters already in the NFC, but who were the 4 coaches in the title games this year?
Elite
Nick
offensive
Sirianni,
coaches. Yeah.
Andy Reid, Zach Taylor, Kyle Shanahan. Dan Campbell's got a lot to prove. If he's going to be here by year 5, I would imagine they would have won a playoff game or 2, and he's won a division title or 2. So, tough question.
Patty asked Mailbag, Jeff, what is Wiseman's stats for the Pistons for the rest of the year, do you think? I mean, I don't think it's going to be anything significant. I mean, you might see 8-8, something. I mean, you got Jalen Duren starting, pretty much giving you 10 and 10. I don't see where Wiseman plays more than 20-ish minutes, so whatever he can do in that time. I think there'll be a lot of ups and downs. He's getting probably more playing time during this stretch than he really has for a majority of his career, so You'll see a lot of ups and downs, but I think I'll give you a solid 8-8. You'll see some flashes, but you got to be patient, which I know sucks because you've been patient all year and for years, but it is what it is.
Oh, man. What else we got here?
Why in the hell, Rustin asks, why in the hell do mock drafts have the Lions taking a tight end?
Because, they're national. They don't pay attention to the team. Don't even value their opinions. It's not even worth it. You're just going to get stressed. Tony heard Adham picked him for an anytime touchdown and stopped 5 yards short. No, Kadarius Toney scored, man. I'm good. He scored on that in-out route that he beat Slay on.
Yeah, he did.
I'm good, man. I was happy with my parlay, man.
It's a nasty route.
God.
Jesse asked Mailbag, Jeff, do you think your boy stole a win from Volk on Saturday? I don't think it was, but damn, it was close. How good Volk did at lightweight, and did you see him as the top 5 in the lightweight division? I watched highlights.
It looked to me that he dominated.
So to answer your second question, is he top 5 in the? Yeah, absolutely. Volk is top 5. You could argue he could have won that fight, but I'm with you. I don't think he was completely robbed. I think it was close, and at the end of the day, that's what happens when you go to decision. They take other things into consideration. I think Islam had the edge, but you got a lot of respect for Volk. I think Islam won the fight. Volk won the night. If that makes sense. That's what everyone was saying. Because Volk got all the fact that he moved up, challenged for the lightweight title.
Against Islam, out of all people.
Who's, scary human being.
All right. Fair enough. Let's see what other questions we have here. Do you have a favorite commercial, or did they all suck? I thought they all sucked. I thought there was one good one. It was like a powerful message. It was the Jesus one. But outside of that, they all sucked. And even that one is like, I really want to see this. I want to watch football. I want to talk about Jesus.
The kids hugged. And you see that one?
I didn't even see that
was a good one.
I thought that was.
But I've seen that before.
I like the Will Ferrell commercial. That was pretty funny.
That was good.
Where he was in that one show. What is it called?
He was in a couple different shows. Yeah. He was in but I mean,
I didn't pay attention. I thought they were all stupid.
Yeah, Aiden was in the commercial with Cameron Hayward.
But that was stupid. I was so hyped.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, what was it gonna be? It was just some flag football chick running around, looking like Barry Sanders. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
that's what we used everybody for. Disappointed. Not the best
they've done that
commercials.
the past few years, I think.
All right, let's see. Did you guys talk about Jalen Duren's 30-point game? No, not yet. You know what?
We'll revisit that this week.
Quick thoughts on him pulling out a Dwight Howard performance. That's the comp.
That's Baby Dwight. That is Baby Dwight. And again, it's funny too. James Wiseman gets acquired and Jalen Duren goes out 30 and 17.
I think Ivy was 15, 8 and 8 that game against the Spurs too.
He played well.
He didn't hit a shot.
And Jalen Duren, the way he got 32, the different ways he was scoring,
dominant.
He showed flashes.
All right, let's see what else we have here. The guy dancing for TurboTax and Will Ferrell for GM. I didn't like any of the commercials, guys. I just didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Adam, did you get pissed on that one where everyone thought their channel got changed? No, the Tubi or Fubu, whatever the hell it was. I think when they went on the app screen, I saw that. I was like, that's stupid. This is so stupid. Look, they're trying to get you to watch something else. What can you do, guys? I just think we're so advanced as consumers. I think now we're hard to please. Back in 2004, we didn't know what marketing, not that we didn't know, but we were just, it's a different time. You get everything in your face 24/7 now. There's nothing you don't see now. You have everything in front of you. So
True.
Tough to be pleased. All right, what else we got here? Mailbag time.
And I saw a question, and I'll let you finish the question you read, but I saw a question about Jamal. If you guys want to see my personal reaction to Jamal, you could check it out, Jeff and Gentry. Me and Mike talked about it, so we got multiple videos on there. Check them all out. Jamal, Dylan Larkin. We're creating a lot of content lately, so
thoughts on
go
the
check that
halftime
out.
show? Rihanna crushed, but dancing was mid. I thought it sucked.
I mean, it's hard to dance when you're pregnant, but I get what you're saying.
I thought it sucked, man. It was so boring.
Do you not like her music then?
Again,
do you not like her music then?
I love her music.
Okay.
I don't have,
but the halftime show is a
it's a
spectacle.
performance.
It's a performance.
Yeah.
Not just shaking your ass and standing still for 20 minutes.
Okay.
I
wasn't impressed.
I don't have.
I can go to the strip club if I want to see that. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
It's fine.
I don't really. I'm not. Watching the Super Bowl for the halftime show. I get people get invested in it.
Oh, I love this question.
don't
I've been waiting for somebody to bring this up. Jesse Adams asks, did you guys see that K9 had the most first place votes for Rookie of the Year but lost it? It doesn't make sense.
Well,
It doesn't, but you know what? Whatever. Garrett Wilson won it. Poor Kenneth Walker. Doesn't even get invited to New York, then gets the most first place votes.
Talk about
doesn't
adversity.
Win the award.
He's faced a ton of adversity,
goodness.
man. They got his Heisman trophy and his Offensive Rookie of the Year trophy.
Yep. How many times will Flannel Sam say that Mahomes is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game today? I would say over under 4.5. Probably over. I'll smash the over.
Oh, it's way over. It's going to be at like 8, 9, or 10.
I can't wait.
Did you guys see the streaker at the end of the pro golf outing in Arizona this weekend?
I did. It was on Saturday, I believe.
He was grinding on the
flag.
That was pretty hot.
Hold up.
What?
Why? I didn't see this,
the real,
and I don't want to see it. But
well, pull it up on the Twitter.
It's worth looking at.
It's there.
I'm pass.
Hey,
There's
man,
several.
So what happened?
Several fan videos out there. You can check it out.
So he ran out
onto the golf course. Yep.
Butt naked.
They're saying it was Dr. Disrespect, was it?
I didn't get that.
No
far.
way.
It was not.
If it is,
if it was, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, pretty legendary. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. He's not in the news
know,
for us. No, I'm gonna say no. It wasn't him.
Well, there wasn't really news coverage on it.
Did Gronkowski kick the field goal?
So he kicked the field goal. I thought it was really stupid. I didn't know what to expect. I don't think anyone knew what to expect. So it was like tape delayed. It looked like in some dark alleyway dungeon that they did it in. But they did it, and they did the little cool where it kicked it, and it went, so they claim it missed, but I mean, I kind of think it was good. They just tricked everyone because you would have won like $10 million or whatever it was. So they did the whole like it's good, and then So
I don't know, Fish.
Interesting.
It was like couldn't have been no more than 60 seconds or even 30 seconds. It was kind of stupid.
Philip says, Mailbag, Dak getting boozed for winning the Peyton Award. No class from the fans.
I know. Well, they did that
down when I was watching.
They did that because it was Eagles fans. They booed him because obviously same division.
Eagles fans are.
I thought that was funny. I enjoyed that moment. Boo!
All right, we're out of here. I got to go answer text messages. We're out of here. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you for joining us this morning.
What a day.
We'll be back tomorrow from the studio. Thank you to Feldman Chevrolet for having us out. As always, check them out in Novi. We're out for Adam, for Jeff, buddy. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
for Fish.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Check out Big D Energy live in just about an hour.
Go watch
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.